This is David Hurley of EasyChessTips.com, bringing you the Pub Chess Bluffer's guide into how to be the player who makes fewer blunders and not the last blunder. The key point in this rather strange game that I played on Wednesday with my regular chess partner leads to a situation where a fianchettoed bishop is not used to advantage. I was black and I had played some version of Charlie Story's sniper opening. Well, I doubt that it's a version that he himself would play in any shape or form at all. But anyway, I blundered my way through a sniper response to d4. It leads to a situation where there was an opportunity for white to capture my rook on a8, and that opportunity wasn't taken. And it results in an unfavorable queen exchange where white goes a bishop down. The moral of the story is that if you're going to place your bishop on g2 as white and open up the diagonal, make sure you keep your eyes on the diagonal and take advantage when advantage is offered to you. I, playing as black, made several blunders that led to an advantageous opportunity for white, which was not taken. So this is how things developed in this rather strange game. I think I was in a bit of a funk because I also managed to completely mess up my notation, so that I've spent some time trying to work out what actually happened on the board, because it's not anything like what I've got written down here in several key places. I think I probably missed some moves out and miswrote some of the moves as well. So it's been quite an effort to reconstruct the first 23 or 4 moves of this game to get this point across. So anyway, let's move on to see what happened. d4. I responded with a quick knight to f6, which wasn't actually my intention. So as I say, I was in a bit of a funk, it seems. This used to be my standard opening when playing black, and it's a fine opening, but Charlie Story's classic sniper opening requires that you begin with g6. He uses the term SMOT in this book. I forget what it means, but it's what it is that you get to a move order, you get to the sniper via a non-standard move order. Now, I'm not sure that I ever actually really got to a proper sniper, but still, this is how things developed. Against my sniper opening, or it seems now any other opening when I'm playing black, Dr. Mogami plays his second move as c3. And then I remembered that what I was trying to do, which is start with this sniper opening. And here we go. By this move, I've now completed the 3 classic moves of the sniper, but having moved my knight early. We now have the fianchetto bishop. Keep your eye on this bishop because it has a very nice opportunity later in the game. And when faced with a fianchetto bishop, then a double sniper is Charlie's recommendation. So that's what I've kind of pushed towards when I see somebody place their bishop here. In a previous game, I didn't succeed in doing it. In this game, I do manage to get my bishop onto the b7 square, but only to get it knocked off again. So this is how things develop. I've now got my bishop there, so we have a double sniper position. The 2 fianchettoed bishops are eyeing each other up. We develop in this way. I delay my castling. We now have this a4 attack. I open up my diagonal. Perhaps I should have done something to prevent that. I move my queen over. His queen comes out. I finally get round to castling. This is a little intermediate move which I think was made. I put my queen up here. There's this little advance here which immediately knocks the bishop off. I have done nothing to prevent this advance here. It's very remiss. Unless you think you can get in a move more quickly, but I didn't. even with these other moves coming in, there's this exchange here. And now the move comes in, knocking the bishop off. Yeah, the recommended advance of the knight. Now this looks a bit dangerous, but I indeed move my queen back. The recommended attack is on this pawn here, but Dr. Mogami attacked that pawn. Now it looks as if I can just take the knight with the rook, but that would be a mistake because this is where the bishop here is threatening this rook. So this is a move I didn't see at all. Let's take that one back. But actually, I quite like the way things turned out for me. I moved my rook across. White has a clear advantage now, as you can see. He moves his knight back, still recommending the move of my knight in front of the queen. But I didn't do that. Yes, so I'm in quite a weak position here. This pawn is very weak. It's only being protected by that bishop, and there's a rook on it here, there's the knight on it here, and there's the queen here eyeing up my king. So that's what I'm trying to move against, although perhaps not in the best fashion. That opens up the diagonal. We now have this queen attack on the pawn here and eyeing the king. I have at least an opportunity to close that down by advancing the pawn rather than taking. So I advance the pawn. I do take. Okay, now this is the mistake here. So clearly I'm attacking by taking the pawn here. I'm unveiling an attack on the queen with my rook, and I believe Dr. Mogami noticed that, and he decides to try a counter-attack with his bishop, which we just saw. But this is a big mistake. You see immediately what happens to the advantage bar here. The bishop comes up. What he hasn't calculated for is that if I take his bishop with my queen, we can then exchange in some way. If I take his bishop with my queen, he can't take my rook with his queen because he will lose his queen to my queen. So what should he do? This is a mistake. This is a big mistake. It's the kind of basic miscalculation that happens at this level of chess. And when this kind of thing happens, you can get back into a game. Don't grab the queen straight away here. Take the bishop first. That's exactly what I did. Take the bishop first. Now, there is a nice counter move to mitigate the problem. If the knight takes this pawn, the knight is now attacking the queen here. So if I take the queen, there's then a queen exchange. I think that would leave black with an advantage, but with not such a big advantage. However, this didn't happen, and that's because we have the queen here, which can be taken by the pawn. And in this kind of situation, many a player will not stop to think what the other possibilities are, but simply take, and that's what Dr. Mogami did, leaving me to take the queen. So now I'm a material up. I have 2 knights, 2 bishops, and 2 rooks, to 2 knights, 1 bishop, and 2 rooks. So from here, the game turned. Once you're material up, you can accept any equal exchange that is offered. So that's the 1-point tip that came out of this rather strange and in many ways unsatisfactory game that I played out with Dr. Mogami earlier this week. From that missed opportunity, it was the last blunder committed not by black but by white, enabling the Pub Chess Bluffer to blunder but lesser blunder his way through to a fine victory at the end for black. I hope you've enjoyed this video and will learn to play better chess. That's all from now from David Hurley of EasyChessTips.com.